Town in the county down one morning last July. Down a Boreen Green came a sweet Colleen, and she smiled as she passed me by. She looked so sweet from her two bare feet to the sheen of her nut brown hair. Such a winsome elf, I'm ashamed of myself for to see I was staring there. From Bantry Bay up the Derry's Quay, from Galway to Dublin town, no maid I've seen like the fair Colleen that I met in the county down. As she onward sped, sure I scratched me head, and I looked with the feeling rare. And I says I to a passer-by, who's the maid with the nut brown hair. Well, he looked at me and he said to me, that's a gem of Ireland's crown. Young Rosie McCann from the banks of the Bann, she's the star of the county down. From Bantry Bay up the Derry's Quay, from Galway to Dublin town, no maid I've seen like the fair Colleen that I met in the county down. She'd soft brown eyes with a look so shy, and a smile like the rose in June. And she sang so sweet, what a lovely treat, as she lilted an Irish tune. At the Lambeth dance I was in the trance, as she whirled with the lads of the town. And it broke me heart just to be apart from the star of the county down. From Bantry Bay up the Derry's Quay, from Galway to Dublin town, no maid I've seen like the fair Colleen that I met in the county down. Fair she'll be surely there, so I'll dress in my Sunday clothes, with my shoes shone bright and my hat cocked right for a smile from the nut brown rose. No pipe I'll smoke, no horse I'll yoke, till me plough was a rust colour brown. And a smiling bride by my own fireside says the star of the county down. From Bantry Bay up the Derry's Quay, from Galway to Dublin town, no maid I've seen like the fair Colleen that I met in the county down. From Bantry Bay up the Derry's Quay, from Galway to Dublin town, no maid I've seen like the fair Colleen that I met in the county down.
Apprivoiser, c'est bien, on va qu'on l'appelle, s'il convient de refuser. Rien des femmes n'a s'ouvrir, ne parle bien l'autre se tait. C'est l'autre que je préfère, il n'a rien dit, mais il me plaît. Jamais connu de loi. Si tu ne m'aimes pas, je t'aime. Si je t'aime, prends garde à toi. Prends garde à toi. Si tu ne m'aimes pas, si tu ne m'aimes pas, je t'aime. Prends garde à toi. Mais si je t'aime, si je t'aime, prends garde à toi. jamais, jamais connu de loi. Si tu ne m'aimes pas, je t'aime. Si je t'aime, prends garde à toi. Si tu ne m'aimes pas, si tu ne m'aimes pas, je t'aime. Mais si je t'aime, si je t'aime,
surprised is that Peter doesn't want to say a word yet. This is your big chance. There's no cameras.
You said it all.
That's it. Are you sure? Did I miss any words? No.
I'm really proud to be joined up with Brigitte's family and everyone here, and the French and the English lot. And you know, I'm really sort of, and to have such two beautiful daughters, Debbie and Brigitte, and Daisy is the joy of her life, and Sean is my best friend.
So you feeling confident?
Superbly. Just wonderful. When I can work out to get into these bloody birds.
Be careful you don't get the bike with a flat tyre.
Oh yeah. Which one's that? Point me in the right
That one there, got a flat tyre. He's the man, he's going to put out the kids on it. Yeah, because when they fall off they don't get hurt so easy.
I hope you're listening to this. Don't do the one with the flat car.
One more ride.
That was good.
Uh-oh. Did you get any speed up that time then? Get any speed up?
Did I get any speed?
Yeah.
This
This is Grandad coming back from his motorcycling, motocross, that's in fantastic condition. Did you have a good time then?
Hello Daisy, darling.
Did you have a good time?
Oh, magic. Wonderful day. Look at Daisy.
And here's Daisy.
Hi everyone, cousin Paul from Sweden. On a sad day for us who knew and loved Uncle Pete to me, Pete to some of you, Dad or Grandad. He, however you knew him, there's no way you'll ever forget him. That's for sure. He really was the life and soul of every party. I remember growing up very, very young, and he was always dragging Mum or Auntie Margaret and Auntie Barbara up on the dance floor. Whether there was anyone out there or not, I don't think it even mattered if there's any music. he was a great laugh. But he also became a great help to me when I came back from Sweden, obviously. It was lovely to go and have a pint with him in the evening and hear so many of his stories that he'd probably shared with my dad, many years before that. Sean has asked me to see if I can think of a few funny stories to mention, and it's just a question of how many do you want. So I've tried to narrow it down a bit, and I don't have the details are a little sketchy because usually we'd had a pint or two. And some of my favourites are him telling me about the time he was in Burma and they were on an illegal night out and the Redcaps came and busted it, and he ended up having to run back to camp in just his pants. The pride of the British Army. You can just picture it, can't it? But you can almost just hear him laughing as he's running back there. I remember Sean and Brigitte's wedding, being sat down at a table, and suddenly there was this loud crack behind me, and I turned around and Uncle Pete was stood there laughing, and Brigitte's mum was rubbing her arse, so he'd just given her a mighty slap. But she just turned around and, cool as a cucumber, said, "Oh, Peter, it's you." Almost disappointed, but just knowing that it had to be him, of all people. I remember his having a motorbike when he was out Ripley, and he'd come off his bike and he didn't want my Auntie Margaret to know about it, so I think he stuck it in the garage for a week or two, and he was limping round, and he just told he'd had really bad arthritis in his knee. So I don't think he wanted to admit that he'd come off his bike. I remember knowing the Crab and Lobster. One of the Coast Guards was in there, and he said, "Oh, I understand you're Irish Pete's nephew." I said, "Yeah, that's right." He goes, "Oh, Christ." He goes, "Well, you have our sympathy." And he said, we was watching out one day from the Coast Guards up there, and one of the lads said, "There's someone in the water down here." He said, "Is there? Let's have a look." And he's looking through the binocular and said, "Oh, Christ," he goes, "it's Irish Pete." He said, "But not again." He said, "But give him a few minutes." He said, "We're not sending anyone out now." He said, "He's bound to make it back. He usually does." And of course he usually did, and always did, because he had that sort of indestructible aura about him that nothing, could beat him. From riding his bike or his little moped off the harbour in Arglass, was it, into the water? Yeah, I guess you just knew from that day that you just felt he was indestructible. I know I did. I just thought you felt so safe out in his company that whatever danger or crap you might land in, that he'd get you out of it. Unfortunately, the one thing, he couldn't get himself out of his old age, and none of us can. But I'd say those who are lucky enough to know him will always remember him, because a well-worn phrase, I think, is that, "Oh, they broke the mould the day they made him," or "They broke the mould the day her." If ever there was anyone that saying applied to, it had to be Uncle Pete, didn't it? I can't even imagine there's someone like him somewhere in the world. And we were all lucky enough that he was a part of our lives. We can all share so many wonderful memories and happy times, and I'm sure you all have your own favourites, and I'll be looking forward to hearing some of yours, of course. So next Thursday, is St. Patrick's Day, and I'll be raising a glass to my favourite uncle and asking him to keep the noise down wherever he is, because I'm sure he'll have started a party somewhere. God bless you, Uncle Pete. Thank you for so many happy memories and times. It's been an absolute pleasure being your nephew. God bless me, mate. Take care.
Cheers, Grandad!
Cheers.
Okay, well, this is our little memory, little video to say cheerio. But before we do so, we just wanted to say how much we loved you and just think about some wonderful memories that we had with you. So, did you want to start?
That's all right, you carry on.
Okay. So, one of my fondest memory is when we said to you, "How are you, Peter?" And up until the end, you were always, "I'm in wonderful condition." And this I will never forget. You had another expression, didn't you?
Or like a coiled spring.
The other thing is, when things went well or things were wonderful, you always called it magic. So things were always magic, and really were when we were with you. So some of my fondest memories were probably when I first became pregnant, and you loved shopping in charity shops, and you bought me this amazing yellow jacket with 2 zips on the sides so that I could grow with it in my pregnancy, and I wore it all my first pregnancy, which was really wonderful. Did you want to share another fond memory?
Oh, well, Dad introduced me to lots of different sports, and we used to play golf together regularly, go sailing until I think we had a big argument in the boat, and I actually jumped out. I was helming, but I was young. He pushed me into helming quite early, but I literally jumped out of the boat, swam in the middle of the lake, swam to the shore, and didn't go sailing again for about 3 weeks. So,
is that a good memory?
And then I didn't sail with him again, probably till for another 30 years.
That's a wonderful memory. Another wonderful memory, first of all, your big bear hugs that was amazing. I loved that quiz. That quiz sometimes was a bit scary, but actually ended up loving them. And another wonderful memory was probably remember when your dad found a dead fox on the side of the road?
Yeah, so he found a dead fox at the side of the road, and then the next week actually he chased the fox. The week after that, the story had evolved so far that he'd got out of his van, got out of his van, chased the fox, caught it, didn't know what to do, and let it go. So the stories did evolve.
They got bigger and bigger. Another fond memory was one day when it was a Sunday morning, very early. I think Sean had already gone to play golf, and I was with Daisy, and she was a little baby, and then suddenly the door rang, the doorbell rang, and there you were at the door, not looking very good. So you were wearing one shoe, you were still having, you had your kind of white shirt and black trousers. You'd been beaten up, so you didn't look very good. You'd lost your wallet.
Or been mugged.
Yeah. And anyway, you came to our house because you were too afraid to go home to Maggie. So you wanted just to have a little rest before you braved going home. So I made you a cup of tea and looked after you, and that was really sweet.
It's interesting as well, because that's probably the first time he's ever been beaten up in a street fight, because that was he used to box for the army, but his claim was that he never was beaten in a street fight, and he did claim that he was taught unarmed combat to the SAS, which should probably be a good reason why you don't get beaten up in a street fight. But there is a story where a next door neighbour had an 18-year-old birthday party. The parents had gone out and it got more than a bit rowdy, and Darren came round to our house, the neighbour, and asked my dad if he could help sort it out. So there's quite a big group of 18, 19-year-olds being pretty rough, and anyway, so he went up in there and up to them and went, right, who's first? Was his approach, and they all dispersed quite quickly. So yeah, it could be combative if he wanted, as well as sensitive and loving as well.
What about that story when you were 17 and he let you drive back from a sailing event?
I just got my provisional licence a couple of days before, and I've been out driving once, and we went down to Leon Solent. Dad got pissed at the bar, and because obviously I could drive home the 60 miles, and on the way back it seemed quite fun that a Dolomite Sprint had gone past us on dual carriageway doing about 90, and in our Cavalier, Dad's like, yeah, catch him back up and overtake him, which it did. So there's not very many people on the second day going driving, encouraged by their dad to do like 100 miles an hour down the dual carriageway, but that's what we did.
It is really fantastic. But I think that's it in terms of me. Do you have any other memories you wanted to share?
No, it's just we did. He introduced us to things like sporting trials. We went. He worked like a bastard, and we were quite privileged to be able to go on holiday when we were young abroad, and we learnt to windsurf together when I was 12 in Corfu. Was the first time. Then we came back and he bought a windsurfer when he won £1,000 on a lottery ticket. So and then that stayed with me as a passion until I was 30, and then kite surfing came along. So yeah, and then teaching me to play golf. We played golf regularly. Obviously he had the passion for sailing. But sporting trials he introduced us both to, didn't he? And we had Daisy as well, so really going around farms. So yeah, so it's basically muddy car driving.
I had to stop actually when I became 5 months pregnant with Annabella. So
yeah.
It's got a bit dangerous. The other thing I wanted to say is, there's so much I loved about you, but you are what we call in France les bons vivants, and basically it's people that work hard, play hard, and just embrace life to the full, and they are, values that really resonate with me. So you will be dearly missed, and but I'm hoping that you're having a good time upstairs when I'm in, what do you call it, heaven?
Was it the other one? Downstairs.
And you know, when it is our time to go, you know, you'll be one of the first person that I want to be and getting a big bear hug again from.
Yeah. So I'm going to miss you watching sailing this weekend. So you won't be there for the first time. But yeah, love you lots. You're a legend, Dad.
Cheerio.
Bye.
Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.
You shake my nerves and you rattle my brain. Too much love drives a man insane. You broke my will, what a thrill. Goodness, your wreckage is quitting balls of fire. I let you love all I thought it was funny. You came along and you moved, now honey, I changed my mind, but it's fine. Goodness gracious, quitting balls of fire. You kiss me, baby. Ooh, it feels good. Hold me, baby. Girl, just let me love you like a lover should. You're fine, so kind. I'm gonna tell this world that you're mine, 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 mine. I took my nails and I twiddle my thumb. I'm real nervous, but it sure is fun. Come on, baby, you drive me crazy. The goodness gracious, quit balls of fire. Should. You're fine.